I'm Anna Christina, vocalist and harmonica player for Zepparella, and you are watching the Zepparella Learning Channel. Thank you so much for joining us. Today is kind of a big day. We're going to take on the song Kashmir. And some of you may know this song. It's actually on the 6th album, it's Led Zeppelin's 6th album, Physical Graffiti. And it might be considered to be one of their most epic songs. So we're doing a series of videos that cover our each individual chairs while approaching Kashmir. So this is the first video in a series of 3. And in this video, what I'm going to be doing is talking about the beginning stages for me when I took the song on. So just a little disclaimer here. I'm not going to be really teaching vocals. I really think that that's such a personal thing and that everyone should find a specific teacher for their specific needs, and everyone's instrument is different. So I'm not going to really take that on as much as I'm going to take on everything else that is involved when you take on a song like Kashmir. And there is plenty to think about as a vocalist when you take this song on. So in this video, I'm going to talk about my beginning stages of getting the lyrics down. And this is also for people who, there are songs where you already have them memorized. You already have them in your back pocket. And certainly I had some of those with Zeppelin, but when I first joined Zepparella, I certainly had some of those, but Kashmir wasn't one of them. And coincidentally, Kashmir is one of the most complicated songs to learn as well, because it's really complicated structure. So what I'm going to do is sort of take you through my process of how I got it under my belt. So in this first video, we're going to talk about the lyrics. We're going to talk about making your lyrics cohesive so that you know where you are in the song. And I'm also going to cover something I've talked about in my other videos, which is how important it is to tap the melody out on the piano when you're in the beginning stages of learning a song. So that's going to be in today's video. And this is the first in a series of 3. So the second video, I'm going to go into a deeper dive of how you as a vocalist take on the structure of a song like this, and some little tricks for you to help you in the learning process so you know where you are in a song like this. And also I'm going to talk about in the second video a little deeper dive about musicality of Kashmir and what to think about musically when you do this song. And in the third video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of Kashmir. I'm going to talk about some memorization tricks that I used to get this in my gray matter, and also some other things that I find incredibly arresting and beautiful about this song, and how sophisticated it is in the writing of it, and maybe something to think about when you write your own songs. So that's kind of the lay of the land, but let's get started for today. Okay, first thing, get the lyrics, okay? You know you have to learn the song, you're learning the song, you're going to get your lyrics, right? That's obvious. By the way, I should say I've got a little fan action going on right here, and that's because it's an uncharacteristically hot day in San Francisco today, and this is the day we decided to shoot. So we're all using little fans to kind of help us not turn into a big sweaty mess. So that's what that is. So, okay, moving on. Getting your lyrics, right? So everybody knows you can Google your lyrics, you can find them online, you can find them by listening. I highly recommend to cross-reference different websites to find different, because there are different websites that will have different lyrics. And I run into that a lot, especially with Zeppelin, because they're metaphorical lyrics and they're not always easy to understand. So cross-reference, use your ears, and then what I do is I put them into a Word document. And my Word document I am going to call my chart. And that is because as a vocalist, I really believe that you should look at your lyric sheet as a chart, meaning it is where you notate everything about that song structurally, about that song dynamically, about where the rests are, about where your phrasing is. And just as a musician has to chart out sheet music for what they're doing, I truly believe that it's no excuse for a vocalist not to consider themselves a musician. Think of yourself as a musician taking on this song. And don't just think in tunnel vision about, well, this is just my lyrics and I'm going to sing. And when you're singing along with the track, you can always think that you have them, that you have the lyrics down, and we all sing along with the record. But when you're on your own, you're going to be very, very grateful that you have some sort of roadmap or chart that you can use so that you know where you are for the structure of the song. And there's not many songs that are as good of an example of needing to chart out a song vocally as Kashmir, because the structure is so complex. So, we're charting out our lyrics, and this is just the basic roadmap. I'm showing you mine right here, okay? And I'm gonna get into this more specifically in the second video, but it's really important in that first stage, just start to do a broad brush of the parts. You got your first verse in kind of a stanza, and then make a space, and you've got that second verse in kind of a stanza, and then you make a space, and then you make another stanza for the bridge. And I've seen a lot of singers come into different rehearsals with just the couple lyrics, they downloaded from the lyrics, I've got them, I'm set. And you'll feel lost, especially in a song like this. So it's really important for me, and I think to help you out, to really make these notes on your lyrics. And you can also, and I'll get into this in the second video, you're making notes about what's happening musically with the band as well. So this is your broad brush time, just to do your broad brush. And this is the finish, a bit of a finish that you'll see in the second video. But it's very, very important to do that. And then we'll talk about getting into notating it in a little bit. Okay, second part, and I just referenced this a little bit in the first part. When you're notating your lyrics, make sure that you are taking note of where you're not singing. This is what I'll get into in the second video as well. And begin to listen to what's happening in the band when you are not singing. That's going to start opening up your ears. You're going to be thinking like a musician. You're taking in the whole song, not just the parts where you're singing. Pay attention to, what's the guitar doing here? What's the drum doing here? Or what's the line that's happening here? How many bars is it? How long is it? And that's going to help you again when taking on a song like this to get through those beginning stages of learning, to know when you're not singing. And this is when we're starting to get more detailed with our form, more detailed with our ears. Remember, if you take nothing else away from the 3 videos I'm going to do, I would like vocalists to think of themselves as musicians. You don't have to go to music school for 4 years to learn some basics that'll really earn you a lot of miles. You'll get some respect from the people you work with, and you'll feel more confident and powerful in your chair with your vocals. All right, so you've found your lyrics, you've put them in a document, and you've kind of broadly charted them out to vaguely see kind of where parts are at this point. Now, I like to do this. This is the third thing I like to do, or the third part of this video, is that this is really important to me. I've talked about this in other videos, is kind of plunk out the melody, tap out the melody on a keyboard. And there's great keyboard apps if you don't have an actual piano. I think this is really important in the early stage, because you'd be surprised how many times I've actually learned a melody wrong. Your ear hears something and you think you've got it, and if you get on it quick, and you make sure that you have that melody correct in the beginning, then you don't have to unlearn a mistake. So, for example, we start out, and that also has to get a lay of the land when you tap out the melody. There's a second thing you do, which is you find kind of where it's standing in your range. You hunt for where the highest part is and where the lowest part is, and then you're like, okay, I sort of have an idea of what the lay of the land is for the melody of this song. So just to start out for accuracy, and you find it, if you're not a piano player, no problem. Like I said, anybody can do this. You just find it, you listen, and you find it. And the melody starts on an F sharp. And so you found that, right? Oh, let the sun beat down upon my face. You sing along with it. Stars to fill my dreams. Oh, let the sun beat down upon my face. Stars to fill my dreams. And I'll do that a couple times. I am a traveler of both time and space. Be where I have been. And you kind of check your voice with it and find it there. And you're like, okay, I've got that. And then you go through the whole song that way. And when you do that, you can kind of make a mental note of what's the high note. And for me, this one, or for anyone, the high note on this one is in that, what I call the first bridge, which is when he's kind of primal, and oh yeah, baby, I've been lying, and he hits a C on that. Ooh. So you kind of, okay, I'm gonna get up to a C. I gotta know that's where I'm going in this song, and then I find where the lowest part is, and that part is what we call the second bridge in Kashmir, and that's when that big whoosh comes over the band, and he goes really low vocally. All I see And that starts on a low B flat. All I see turns to brown. You're like, okay. And the sun, so all I see turns to brown. And the sun burns the ground. And I'm like, okay, I'm finding that. And then another little part I'm taking note of is that after this low part, for that beautiful dynamic explosion that happens right after that, he jumps an octave to the B flat, an octave above that. When he explodes, try to find, and that's B flat A G. Try to find where I've been. And I'm like, okay, that long note's going to be on an A. So that's just kind of in your first rounds. You just kind of tap it out and go, now I have a little bit more of a sense of it. It's not this big ethereal thing, which you can feel like as a vocalist so much because you don't have anything to grab onto. You're not playing the guitar, you're not playing an instrument, you're not anchored to the music. Well, this will help you feel that way and feel more educated in what you're doing and feel a little bit more grounded in where you are. And say, okay, I've got some sense of where I am now and what I need to work on with this song. And not to mention, it will help you make sure your melody is accurate. So that would be that little process that I once again recommend doing early on in the process so you don't learn it wrong and that you kind of have that in your head. Okay, so in kind of closing out this video, this song gives us a wonderful opportunity to really tune in to learning the structure of a song. And it's so important because, as I just mentioned before, you can feel like you're floating out there, and it can feel very daunting to not know where you are. But if you take the time to really learn the structure of the song, and that's going to involve counting and phrasing, and we're going to talk about that in the next video, you will feel much more clear about where you are, and you will be able to also talk to your bandmates better about the song, and it helps the whole band dynamics. So I'll talk about that a little bit more in the next video too. Okay, so thank you for checking out this video. And in the next two videos, I'm going to be diving deeper into mapping out your charts, learning the structure, talking a little bit about phrasing and dynamics. And then the video after that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of the song, some tricks I use for memorization, and some cool things this song made me think about as a songwriter. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the next one.